Hey everyone, and welcome to Rescripted Podcast, where we could celebrate the great things in life, share about the not so great parts, and find out how we can rewrite those challenges, turn them into insightful moments that will lead us to change, to growth, to happiness, and empowerment, all so that we can live the life we truly want to experience. My name is Amy Quiles, and I'm a personal development coach that helps you overcome self-doubt and self-sabotage so that you can live your dream life. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing the power of self-awareness in personal growth. So when we're talking about self-awareness, you want to assess what it is that you spend your time on and why do you do it, right? What is the purpose behind it? Is it something that you truly enjoy? You feel fulfillment out of it? You love it because, maybe you're productive. Maybe you're able to achieve these results that you really went after. Is it because you get some type of validation? Maybe your loved ones, you're able to do things for your friends and family, and just being able to see their appreciation for it fills you with joy. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, a lot of times that is your payment, is the love that you get from your loved ones, because everything you do is you're pouring back into them. Day in and day out, what you want to do is be able to take care of your family and provide for them in the best way possible. I know I used to be a stay-at-home mom for over a decade, and that was my primary interest, was to make sure that my daughter was laughing every day, like belly laughs, like full-hearted laughs, and I wanted her to enjoy every moment. And that was payment enough for me. But then when I got into the professional field and once I got into personal development, there were other things that filled me. And it was being able to help people dissect some of the things that worked in their life and see some of the things that didn't work in their life and why those things were still around. If it wasn't feeding them, why was it still part of their daily routine? And if you are a high functioning professional and you have high standards and you're truly determined, it could be that you're doing it to get the recognition of a new position, or maybe just get the accolades that you know that you're so deserving of. But what happens when you give your all, you show your best, and you're still not recognized for the things you truly want? That could take a hit. That could take a real hit. But sometimes what you find yourself doing is thinking, okay, you could work a little harder, do a little more. The person that you're trying to show how wonderful you are at your job, at your profession, in your field, you're trying to show them how wonderful you are. But it almost feels like the more you do, it's recognized, but you're not rewarded. And you want to know why that happens, right? So much of you is poured in. So much of you is given to show the diversity in your skill sets and your abilities. But yet, for some reason, you feel like you can't get off of step one. Like you started great, you started strong, but you feel like you're not getting rewarded the way that you should be. And the honest truth of it all is, while you're pouring your efforts into showing your boss, your team, your significant other, or those people that you really want the validation from, when you try to show them that you are able and capable of doing any and everything, you end up losing yourself in the process because you end up spreading yourself so thin. Like I've said before, there's plenty of tasks that we could do, right? There's nothing that's too vast that it isn't easy to understand the concept and just do it. You just have to put a little effort and you'll be able to achieve it, whatever it is. But there's a difference between able to do something and then doing something and pouring yourself into it because you really love it. There's a different level that you tap into that allows you to be great, and it allows you to be able to pour out more than just the average, right? There's something about it that feeds you, something about it that when you're really great at something, it's not just because you're good at the task, but it's because some way, some form, somehow, it does become therapeutic to you, and that's why it's so easy for you to do. But when you spread yourself so thin that you're doing everything and you're not really able to master anything, then you really do yourself a disservice, because the world will always need you, right? No matter what, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, someone is going to need you. But the truth of the matter is you get to determine how someone can use you in the best way. And not saying that you're going to limit how you're able to show up for other people, but you really want to be known to master something, because to really dive into anything, you really have to be a master at it, right? Even if you were to bake a cake, there's a difference between me baking a cake, and then there's a difference between a master pastry chef that makes a cake. They're just going to be phenomenal, out of this world, and it's going to be a lot more elaborate than maybe just my sheet cake. And not to say that I don't love doing it, but I don't love it enough to master it. So when you're able to find something that you love so much that you're willing to master it, that's really something that you should hone into, because whether you're able to show up in every single way, or if you're able to show up the best way that you can, you do get fed in different ways. But the only difference is if you show up in every single way, there's a part of you that will eventually feel like you're not getting the recognition that you deserve, because you're overexerting yourself and you're overexhausting yourself. So therefore you kind of start to feel run down. But you always show up. So nobody expects you to be tired or overwhelmed or exhausted. You're just the person, you're the go-to person, right? So they're just expecting it from you. And since you've always done it, you've always showed up, you've always showed out, you've always gave the best results. Well, they don't expect anything less than that. But if it's not something that you absolutely love, chances are you're going to get burned out. Because in order to really pour yourself into something and continuously be great at it, continuously elevate it, you have to love it, because there are high moments and there are low moments, and you have to weather the storm to be able to understand it to its full capacity, right? Everything in life has seasons. Everything in life is going to have its high moments and its low moments. And if you're able to weather the storm with it, then you're going to be able to find fruitful moments, and you're going to find moments that are going to propel you, and you're going to like fall in love with it and get like a resurgence of it, because now the thing that you loved so much, now it gets like a resurgence for you, and you have to learn it a different way, see it from a different angle, and you have to adapt with it. And once you learn that, once you allow yourself to be a part of that, then you're able to see that things never stay the same. That's why it's ultimately challenging and difficult and almost impossible to master anything, because things are always changing, growing, and evolving. You can have a very great and vast understanding of something, but to ultimately master it in and out, it's going to be hard, because things have stages and phases and evolutions of it, just as technology has, just as we have, just as the way that we've been able to provide, all of that has evolved, right? Even from 5 years ago, much less 100 years ago. So to see that life is always evolving, and the things that you love and the ways that you can provide is always evolving, you really need to look at that, because if you're a part of everything and everything is always evolving, and to just kind of like stay ahead of the like 8 ball in a sense, it's exhausting, because there is somebody that does love something enough to master it. So why not let somebody else take the lead in some areas, right? Where they absolutely love something, and where they're amazing at it. And maybe you're good, right? You're good, but why take that on when you can have somebody else be able to enjoy that task or that project that maybe you don't love so much, and you'd rather be doing something else? So it's really important that when you do a self-awareness, you have to see what your strengths are, you have to see what your abilities are, and you really want to see what you want to pour into. Because again, if you want to be great at anything, and being a high achiever, we want to be great at everything, you really have to understand how to master some of these things. And that takes a lot of time, a lot of devotion, a lot of focusness, a lot of determination and perseverance. And to say that you're going to do that with 10 different things going on all at the same time, it's going to be pretty impossible and very, very exhausting. And you don't want to do that to yourself. You want to be fair to yourself. You want to be able to enjoy life and the things you do. It's because it has significance to you. It means something to you. It has purpose and fulfillment for you. Because instead of waking up in the morning and dreading to start another day, you wake up in the morning excited to be able to continue what you've been working on, whether it's a project, whether it's caring for your family, whether it's this new career. You want to be proud of the things that you take on, and you want to take them on because you know the results that you can provide. So being able to be aware of how you do that, being able to see like how you're growing, and maybe you did start something in the beginning. Maybe you did start at a job or position, or maybe you did take on a hobby. And in the beginning, you loved it. And midway through, you realized you needed to pivot. Maybe you didn't love this hobby as much, or maybe you loved your job or your profession so much that you were able to expedite that growth process because you were so invested, But if you're committed to that and committed to 7 to 10 other things, it's going to be challenging to master because every thing is going to need so much of your time, so much of your energy and devotion. And like I said before, everyone's always going to need you to some form or fashion or some capacity. You will be needed. So not to say that you will only do this one thing and strictly this one thing, but know that there's something that you master, and anything that you do take on, you want it to be part of something that can add to that. So instead of you feeling like you're taking on 7 different things, you're feeling like you are mastering this one beautiful thing that can grow into different components, different areas, and who knows, branch off into be something bigger than you even imagine. So it can turn from a hobby to a job to who knows what, a huge project that has a lot of different collaborations. You just never know where something can take you, but you definitely want to know that everything that you're pouring yourself into is truly taking you on a focused direction, so that you don't have that feeling of having to start over again, or you don't have to have that feeling of trying to prove yourself, because the only time that you feel like you have to prove yourself to someone else is when you're measuring yourself against their expectations because you want their validation. But if you're able to look at and see what you're really good at, what you're really passionate about, what you're really devoted to, then all the elements that you are taking on, it's so that it can benefit more what you are trying to build, what you are trying to grow, because that's ultimately going to be the fuel to keep you going. And I know as a high achiever, you got it. You don't want to take the time to show someone else. That's just taking time away from you getting it done, because you can get something done a lot quicker than it's going to take you to train someone. But remember, you don't want to gas yourself out. There's so many beautiful things in life to enjoy. There's so many beautiful things in life to do. And there's so many things that need your precious time. And you don't want to already commit that time to something that you just like, where you can actually pass that on to someone who actually loves those components and really dives deep into that. And they can ultimately do a better job because it is their passion. Why would you want to rob somebody of something like that, right? Leave the floor open for somebody else to have an opportunity to dive into something and make it better. You don't have to be in control of everything all the time. I get it. It's hard. It's easier said than done. But at the end of the day, it is going to give you a great sense of ease, a greater sense of accomplishment, because you're not accomplishing a million things. You're accomplishing one major thing, one big monstrous thing that means the world to you. And you can't pour that much energy into something and other people not feel it, not see it, and not appreciate it, right? Because when you love something and you pour that love into it and it becomes, in a sense, like a masterpiece to you, then other people are going to appreciate it too, because it shows. Your work shows. Like, where you are in life is a reflection of the work that you put in. And some of those things are so beautiful. Beautiful masterpieces of what you can do with just a little, right? You could do a lot with a little. And once you're able to grow that little into something magnificent from all the love and the pour and the energy that you put into it, and you're able to look back and see it, then you're going to be so proud of yourself, because that's something that's going to really embody who you are as an individual. And you won't need somebody else to validate your work. It's going to speak for itself. And ultimately, as a high achiever, that really is the goal. That really is the goal. Ultimately, you want to be able to make something that you're so proud of. You want a body of work that you are so proud of. But that's going to be really hard doing that if you're kind of chasing your tail, trying to make everybody else happy. So my advice to you is hone in, do a little self-awareness, and see if everything that's taking up your time, does it all funnel into one thing that you really truly love, that you really truly enjoy, that's meaningful to you and gives you substance. And if it doesn't, then there might be some editing that needs to happen in your life. I don't know what it is, but all I'm saying is that if you want to stop feeling so burnt out, chances are if you start taking some unnecessary things off your plate, and you'll start to feel better. And if you need help trying to figure out what are some of these things that you could potentially take off your plate, and if you do take them off, whose plate are you going to put it on? I invite you to have a discovery call with me. I will link it down below. But also, if you want to see where you stand in your personal development journey, I also have an assessment that you can take. I'm going to link it all below so that you can go ahead and try it out and see where you stand on your personal development journey. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you enjoyed this episode and feel like it was insightful, then I ask you to please rate it, like it, and subscribe. And share it with someone you feel will enjoy it. I'll be back here next week, and we will continue to discuss matters regarding personal development. Take care, guys. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time.